Hi everyone, today's topic is Resource and Development Class 10. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about classification of soil like alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterate soil, arid soil and forest soil. Alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is mainly formed by the deposition work of the river, and that is why this is also called as riverine soil. It is very fertile in growing like rice, wheat, and cotton and oil seeds formed by the deposit like a sand and silt bought by the rivers. It is found in the areas like Punjab and West Bengal and Assam in the east. It is also found in the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri rivers in the peninsula in India. So it is rich in potash and lime. We can classify alluvial soil like a two types, like a khadar and bhagar. Khadar means like whenever river is flowing, it deposits soil in the adjacent areas. So the regular deposition, that means the fresh soil is referred to as a khadar, which is fertile soil. And another one is bhagar. Bhagar means a new layer of soil comes, the earlier one is pushed back. Whenever the new layer of the soil comes in the river, the earlier one is pushed back. So it becomes as a old one, that is called bhagar. And second soil name is black soil. That is, it is formed by the basalt, which is like a or basalt or lava rocks, we can say. Whenever this is the there is the volcanic eruption, the lava flows out and cools down. These rocks are called as a lava rocks. It is rich in clay and in the soil, and moisture holding capacity is very high. And in this soil, very rich in like a lime, iron, magnesium, calcium carbonate, and potash. Even it is poor in nitrogen and oxygen and phosphorus also. And we can find in this kind of the soil like Deccan region, which includes the major part of Maharashtra, Gujarat, and part of the Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. Even cotton is most important crop in this soils, where they are growing in this soils. And another one is red soil, red and yellow soil. So develops in the ancient crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. These soils develop reddish in color due to the diffusion of iron and crystalline and metamorphic rock. It looks yellow when it occurs in the hydrated form, or it sees in the low rainfall. We can find this kind of the soils basically in Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, Odisha, even Madhya Pradesh also. In this soil, the main crops they are growing, like in Maharashtra and coastal areas, they can grow rice. In Karnataka, coffee they can grow, and Kerala spices like spices and rubber they can grow. In Tamil Nadu, rice and sugar cane. It will be good for this cultivation. And so second one is laterate soil. So these kind of the laterate soils we can say found in a very heavy rainfall regions, and then in summer the temperature is too high, so it is found in the areas with high temperature and heavy rain. What happens because of the heavy rain, we can find this kind of the soils. Now, the rocks are found in these areas are rich in lime as well as silicon. Lime and silicon easily react with the water and flows out of the rock. So, if we see carefully with the rock, it develops many dents. The reason is lime and silica is flown out. The rock becomes weak and finally it breaks down and forms that soil. And in these soils, humus content is also low because microorganisms like bacteria get destroyed due to the high temperature, and even fertility of this soil is low. If we add some fertilizer to it, they can useful for the crop cultivation, and it is suitable for the cultivation with adequate doses of the manure and fertilizers. And these kind of the soils we can mainly found in Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and Orissa, even Tamil Nadu and West Bengal also. And arid soil. Arid soils range from the red to brown in color. They are generally sandy in texture and saline in nature. In some areas, the salt content is very high. So, salt is obtained by the evaporating the water. For example, I say in Rajasthan, like Sambar Lake, due to some extreme climate and high temperature, the soil lacks humus and moisture. So, the lower horizons of the soil are occupied by the conker. Conker means layer of line inside the soil. So, the bottom horizons restrict the infiltration of water. Then what happened? Whatever little rainfall is there in these regions receive is stored in the soil, that to upper layer in the soil, which is good for the agriculture. After the proper irrigation, these soils become cultivable. The reason is, even these soils, though the clay content is less, can retain water. Now, forest soil. The forest soil is basically found in hilly and mountainous regions with the sufficient rain. Soil's texture varies according to the mountain environment. And for example, I say higher slopes, it is where it will be very coarse grained soil, and lower slopes it will be fine grained. And that is called there are loamy and silty in the valley sides, and coarse grained in the upper slopes. When I say loamy means the soil is perfect. Has good proportion of sand clay. That silt means silt refers to coarse or rough soil. Like Himalayas, due to the denudation, the acidic with the low humus content will be there. Mainly in northeastern Himalayas, denudation means a process that involves erosion, transportation, and deposition. Actually, a big mountain area is subjected to varying away is called as denudation. Due to denudation, the soil become acidic, means that lime is washed away. Lime has reduced and the soil become acidic and humus content is low. So this require treatment if at all we use it for cultivation. Clear? In the river, terraces and alluvial fans are fertile. Alluvial fans means they are generally in the Himalayas. The rivers cross the middle Himalayas and the Shivalik range, and when they come to plain, suddenly they find open land and they spread out. They spread out like a Jap- Japanese fan. Like you can see Japanese, they are using fan. So that's why these regions are refers to as a alluvial fan. So which is in a shape like a fan. Like Japanese, they are using fan. No? So like that it shapes. They are very fertile. Now we are seeing soil formation. Now we will go to the soil erosion and conservation. Always there is a balance between soil erosion and soil conservation. Sometimes this balance disturb mainly because of human activity, because of the using excessive amount of chemical fertilizers, deforestation, overgrazing, mining. These disturbance will happen. Now, we shall study the different reasons for the soil erosion. Like you can see in the picture, like soil erosion, like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, mining activities, all these factors that leads to the soil erosion. Here we can see types of soil erosion. See, sheet erosion. A thin upper layer of the soil is washed away in the sheet erosion, and drill erosion. It means there is a thin cracks on the surface of soil. Thin lines also called finger erosion, and gully erosion means it means deep canals are found. So how we can prevent them? Like soil conservation. Like you can see counter flowing. We can prevent them from the soil erosion. Like for example, counter forming. If I say counter forming, it is suppose you can see in this picture, I have a big piece of land. It has many ups and downs. So I will make section of that agriculture land. So when I am dividing its sections, then different pieces of land, different height. Now When I do the plowing will be done along with the counters. When I say counter, the lines joining places having same height, but here pieces of land having some height, same height. So when plowing is, it will never be done along the slope. It is wrong. Instead it will done parallel to the counter. So that is called plowing along the counter lines. What happens because of this? It declarate the flow of water down the slope. This is called counter flowing. And here in second picture we can see terrace cultivation. So here in this terrace cultivation, steps can be cut out on the slopes making terrace. And terrace cultivation restricts erosion. Western and central Himalayas have well developed terrace farming. It is mainly utilized for cultivation for rice. Okay, and even strip farming also we can see large fields. Large fields can be divided into strips. Strips of grass are left to grown between the crops, and this breaks of the force of the wind. This method is known as strip cropping. Even shelter belts also, like planning lines of the trees to create shelter are called as shelter belts. These shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes and stabilizing the desert of the western India. Okay, these kind of the methods, farming methods that reduce the soil loss, no, and no till planting, and even cover crops also. These all will be including for the reduce soil loss. Thank you.